What's happening, sports
Not a
fans?
good name for dyslexics.
Yeah, not a good start for dyslexics. Not a good name for dyslexics. Welcome back to another season of San Diego Prep Insider. I'm Christian Pedersen. That voice that you heard was Tommy Morris. You can see him behind me on the Zoom board in studio. We've got Noah Laxina. He's back Cena. And then Bodie De Silva from Scorebook Live. The intern is here with us as well, providing. We're going to be doing the intern's underdog of the week.
I like that.
All season.
Oh, I like that.
Yes, I do too. That's the best idea that I've ever contributed to the show. For those of you that are new tuning in this year because you're just joining the ranks of high school sports fans, every week we get together once, maybe twice to talk about. Usually the format goes game balls, shouting out from performances the last week. Then we talk about top plays, teams, whatnot going on, stories, and then close out with some game predictions. No game balls, just shout out this week because this is the start of high school football season. So we will go straight into just kind of trending and topics of what is going on now. Bodie De Silva with Scorebook Live is the man to follow for all the stories here in the San Diego section. You can follow them at SB Live CA. You can follow Bodie at SD Preps. You can get the app. That is the go-to place. Also, if you go to the CIF website, I love now the scroll up there has gotten better over the last couple of years, the technology-wise, but also the scroll now will, from what I hear, include live game watch links on that potentially as the season goes along.
Yeah, so if it's going to be on NFHS,
it'll be a little, it'll just be a little emoji or whatever on that. So Bodie, what's up? What have you been writing about the last week? What do you have coming up? What stories do you need to plug?
Yeah, preseason San Diego section rankings out this week, which, look, it's preseason. Nobody has a clue, myself included. But yeah, I think I have a pretty good idea on who the top 5 are, and then maybe that next tier of 6 to 15. But we'll see. It's going to be exciting early on. Several matchups between ranked teams in these first few weeks. Preseason all San Diego section team coming out later today. And then we did our top 50 preseason teams in California, which 5 of the San Diego section teams are within that top 50. So.
Which I approved of because I said that we would riot if there was not a couple of San Diego teams featured on that. You mentioned the top 10 ranking. I don't necessarily want to go spot by spot through a top 10 right now because that's either just cannon fodder for cold takes in a couple of weeks or it just, I don't know, nobody knows right now. But I do want to ask 2 questions that have come up reoccurringly in my preseason observations and discussion. One is modern day Catholic.
Yeah.
Tommy, Bodie, you guys both have had to dive deeper into the numbers and the strength rubric the last couple of years. Do you think that mathematically, with their strength of schedule, Modern Day can be even in the open division conversation, or are they a sort of they're destined to only be a Division I team, no matter how good they end up being, they can't get there?
No, I think with the non-conference, and I know it wasn't ideal talking to Coach Joyner, he said, look, we got to play with who's willing to play us. You can't really put your exact schedule together the way you want every year, but opening with Cathedral, they've got Carlsbad. They're going to play in the Honor Bowl against Red Mountain from Arizona. They're going to play Lincoln later on. I think those are enough in non-conference. Obviously, they're the favorite in the league. They've done pretty well there in recent years, but I think those non-conference games within really good San Diego section teams should help them. If their record's good enough, I would expect them to be one of the 4.
Tommy?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I mean, you can only, kind of like what Bodie's saying, you can only control what you control. They're a team that not a lot of good schools want to play right now because they're scared of them. I'm not scared in a negative sense necessarily, but scared of how it will affect the schedule. But now that they have moved up leagues, moved up to Division I don't think it'll be as big of a problem for them in the future. And again, smart move if they want to get the harder schedule without having to rely on some of the teams in D1 San Diego, some of the perennial powerhouses to play them out of conference. Just go outside the section and go find somebody else of equal value. So smart move there doing that. And I think that they will have a chance. Again, if you go undefeated, I think it's a lock. We'll see what happens when the losses get mixed in, if they even lose. So it will be something definitely to monitor.
It's true that I did not suppose that question with the underlying premise being them going undefeated. Yes, if they go undefeated,
no,
then
they have.
Yes,
they should.
So
if they did,
they go undefeated.
They would
the one.
be able to write.
With the strength of their schedule, if they go undefeated, we should just make a bust of John Joyner's head, the Open Division trophy. I know that CIF's looking for a new design for the trophy. And yes, if they run through this schedule undefeated, 13-0, and win a state title through this, go ahead, do whatever you need to. Noah?
I think I just want to highlight how important this game is this weekend because, we have a long football season and we're talking already about the end of the season if they could get in depending on their schedule. Wow, we're going to look back and
we're going to look margin for error.
Yeah, like they're going to look back and like week 1 is the week where, teams are still trying to find an identity at all. They don't you're going to make mistakes and have to learn from. For them, there's no margin of error here. They have to show and prove that what they've been building these last few years is actually paying off and that they're one of the cream of the crop in San Diego. And I'm just excited to see how those kids handle that pressure, knowing that, we have a lot of kids that are very talented and they're going to go on to play college football, but how do they stack up against the pressure this weekend?
The second question I had about the top 10, and in no particular order, this is out to the room, is does this feel like the deepest D1 playoff we've had in a long time? Because Open is 6 to 7-ish teams, depending, like you said, on some of the math on some of those. But that automatically puts 2 teams down in the running for D1. But we didn't talk at all in any of our real major Open contributions about, there's 9 or 10 teams that are really good this year, and that means that D1 is going to be 4 or 5 deep, plus someone's bound to, out of that bottom third, rise up as, I don't know, I feel like Steel Canyon's going to have a really good year with Major Givens as a senior. There's going to be some teams. So for me, Open Division has been so much the focus the last couple of years that it's maybe felt like the Division 1 was like, oh, yeah, whoever's 5th or maybe 6th winds up as, them versus the field. This doesn't feel like that this year.
No, I would agree. And just looking through that, I think a lot of them are, whether it's Avocado League teams, Poway's a team I think that's going to be really good this year. It's third year for Kyle Williams. They went undefeated in the spring year. That's the team I would kind of look at. Now, I have them 7th, I think, to begin the year, but that would kind of be early on the team I would look at as, I don't think Poway's an Open Division team, but I think they're at least a front runner for Division 1 and a team that nobody is going to want to go up against. They're big, they're experienced. They got a big-time running back in Connor Rath. So Poway's a team I have circled to really, I shouldn't say surprise. I think after what they've done in the summer, they're on a lot of people's radar now. But
I argue that you get to say surprise as long as it is something that would surprise the common fan.
Yeah.
So, the people that were not
watching, they've been off the radar for a few years now, but I think they've kind of built towards this year. You talk to other coaches, they rave about Kyle Williams. He's done a great job, whether it was Fallbrook, Westview, now at Poway. I think Poway's ready for a huge season.
Tommy?
I agree with Bodie, and Bodie already mentioned it. You've got those top maybe 4 or 5 teams, but everyone else in D1 is pretty similar. Like you said, ranking 1 to 15 is hard. So when we get to the playoff time, it's going to be seeds won't really matter. It'll be maybe 1 or 2 teams that are the favorite, and everyone else is going to have a fair shot at advancing. As far as they do. So it's going to be a very exciting division to watch. I'm also very excited to see what Saints does, new coaching staff. So you've got a lot of interesting storylines here in Division 1 that we should be monitoring throughout the season. And once we get to playoff time, we'll be very interesting to talk about when all these teams have to match up against each other. So I'm very excited to see what this division has to offer.
Yeah, I also like to point out, every few years you see kind of like a shift of power and a shift of balance in the San Diego section. I think it's exciting to see some of these programs that, may have not gotten a lot of recognition being kind of like at the bottom of the cream of the crop, but now, working their way over the years, it seems like it's a good opportunity for them to, take that step and earn their right to be known as one of the best in San Diego. And I think, the Open Division is the Open Division, but I think the Division 1 is going to get a lot more praise this year, not only because, you're going to have those teams that fall down, but also just every single game in the playoffs is going to be insane. I think it's a time where everyone's so excited for football to be back, and it's going to feel really legit to have this full season to really be all in and focus on, highlighting these players.
All right, well, then let's go all in on the segment that always makes us look. Apologies for that. See, look at that. I'm already 0 for 1. I'm already one penalty against the show this year. Let's go on to the segment then that does make us look all in on being all stupid sometimes, because we have to give the people what they want. And what they want are previews and predictions. Every week we pick 4-ish games, sometimes 5, sometimes 6, as our intern comes to say what's up. For those of you that wondered why the underdog joke, that is the intern. Kingsley.
He said, "Go Dogs."
Go Dogs. Go Ramona.
Go
Can we
Dogs.
talk about the Ramona game, please?
Go Dogs.
But yeah,
Yeah,
every
I know
week
she's
we
sticking
pick a
in the
couple.
last game.
Hey, intern, can you come?
Well,
can
actually,
you come,
in the first game.
Can you come lay down? Every week we talk about a couple of games. This is in no way, shape, and form the games of the week. We just try to get to every region, every cool game. Sometimes I think we also got to just pick games where it's like, hey, nobody knows anything about that. Let's go learn something about that. I'm curious. So none of this, please don't take it too seriously. Just a chance to talk about some football. Now that it is back and our summer is over. Summer's fun, but you want summer to end after a little while and then football season to get started. Guys, first game we got is Point Loma versus Santana. I saw the Pointers at their scrimmage. From not having a varsity team a couple seasons ago to now, seems huge. Maybe not when you look at kind of who the school is and the student base they're drawing from historically has been pretty into football. So maybe it's not like some huge turnaround, but it's a cool story that they've got a little hype. They're taking on the Santana Sultans. Santana seems to always start hot. What do we got? Bodie, want to start with you?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Point Loma in this one. I think we see somewhat of a surprise season from Point Loma, another team that hasn't been on the radar a ton in recent years. But I think starting off with Santana, I think they can get off on the right foot there. Then they do have to go to Central after that. But
can I make an argument that they will wind up being the least surprising surprise of all time? Because, like I said, they've been good at football. Like they were, J.L. Skinner would come into the studio and smack us all for saying that like they're not a relevant football program. I think that I'm with you that they will be a surprise to everybody because of recency bias, but that's not a surprise that they're going to get back to being that good that quickly.
Yeah, in recent years, and they've been in tough leagues, whether it was having to deal with the Western with Saints and Cathedral. They're now in a league that's still challenging, Mission Bay, University City. But for this week, I'm going to go with Point Loma. I think they get off on the right foot against Santana and start their kind of surprise season.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Point Loma as well. Just to highlight a couple of their losses last season, they weren't necessarily – I know the score maybe would have been 21, 14 points, but they were closer games than you would think. And I think that going into this year, I know Santana had a pretty good season last year, but I think just the fact that Point Loma is growing their program and they're getting back to being that high division school with a lot of good kids, I think they're going to answer the call and they're going to win a close one. They're going to win a close one versus Santana.
Oh, does that mean that we need to bring back over-unders or what the line was? Tommy, that's up to you if you want to bring back over-unders this season. Tommy Morris, your thought on Point Loma Santana?
Well, what does the intern think about German short-haired pointers? Fan or not fan?
Big
sees
fan.
them on the dog park.
Intern is fan of all people and all dogs.
Okay, so I'm going to go with Point Loma as well. I hate to be boring. Chase Lowry, one of the hardest hitters in San Diego. He plays both sides of the ball. He is scary to be hit by and scary to tackle for the Pointers. And then at quarterback, you got Jackson Emerson coming back. I know Max Newby got some snaps there as well, transfer from University City. Both good options under center, so they seem to be in good hands. My assumption is they'll figure out either carve out a role for each of them in the first couple of games or figure out who they're going to go with. But I like Point Loma here. It will be a little bit slower start just because like I said, I think they're probably tinkering with a little bit of stuff, but I like Point Loma in this game.
Game number 2, Mira Mesa Helix. This feels like, to me, the trap game of the week, potentially. Helix coming off of a Division I championship. They've got a quarterback that, as Tommy said, is a hard last name to spell with the amount of S's and E's congruent.
Never gotten it right once.
But Ryland Jesse is a very accomplished dude. This Mira Mesa team, though, feels like they have been really close to being past that hurdle the last couple of years, and they got some nice returning pieces that, like, I don't know, maybe is Mira Mesa there this year, or is this Helix? Like, am I making too much hype out of this? Is Helix going to mop up? Tommy, let's start with you.
This is going to be a very good game. So last year it was 28-20, if I'm not mistaken. I think Mira Mesa has gotten better as well. So this should be I think it's going to be a one possession game, no matter who wins it. Ryland Jesse entering his 2.5 season. What do you want to call it? Look over here.
I'll give him third season.
This is his third year. Okay, his third season starting, had a strong sophomore campaign. Travis Ford, who I am excited to see carry the ball a bit more. No Christian Washington this year. Travis is listed at 6'4", 250. So anytime a man of that size is carrying the football, it is interesting to watch. Again, that's got to be a 3 or 4 yards just by him running
6'4",
in a straight line. So we'll see how they mix him in. I think it could be a very fun offense to watch with Ryland throwing and just a monster running the football. But on the other side, Mesa, Tyson Line also had a good sophomore year, threw for 1,178 yards and 9 touchdowns. He split time last year. It'll be his job to have during this season, and I'm excited to see what he can do. These are going to be 2 of the better quarterbacks in this class. So we'll be talking about these guys not just this year, but next year. And Mekhi Thompson might be the best athlete in the field. He was 7 yards shy of rushing for 1,000 yards last year. You know he wants to break that barrier this year. I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to pick Mesa. Okay.
Wow. You know what? I think you made a very compelling argument, and shoot, you almost made me pick Mesa right now. I was thinking Mesa. I think that, Helix does a great job of reloading, though. I know that they lost a really good running back to graduation, but I just feel like if anyone knows how to reload, it's Helix. I think week 1, I know that it's something that Mesa is looking to, like, wow, this is our chance, this is our opportunity. I feel like they're going to come up a little short in a nail biter. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, though. I think offenses are going to go flying, and I think Helix is going to come out with the game-winning field goal at the end.
Yeah, I think it goes overlooked last year, but with Mesa, they were the only team all year to beat Scripps Ranch. I was at that game, a game-winning field goal, and so they've been tested in these big games. I'm going to go with Helix here. Ryland Jesse, I think third year, kind of open up the offense, rely on him to pass a little more. They were so reliant on Christian Washington last year, which not a bad thing. He did everything he could and got them a Division I title. But I will go with Helix. I think Adrian Parker is going to be poised for a huge year. We saw him on the track back in the spring. I believe he's the section record holder in the 400 meter. So a guy outside there can play both ways that has some speed, and I'm certain they'll be looking to get him the ball.
Bodie, never ask me if somebody is a leader. We ask you. That's the way that the
hey, track and field still the new one
doesn't matter.
for me.
We toss you with all the absurd. Hey, if there's a stat or a name or a record, Bodie, go look it up. El Cajon Valley, Mission Bay. Mission Bay had a little bit of a quarterback question going into the scrimmages. I think they've got that figured out. They've got the skill position players. El Cajon Valley has one of the best running backs in the county. So big fireworks in this early week 1 game. Noah Laxino, let's start with you.
Yeah, I think this year, I think it's going to be, this is going to be a really good matchup. I feel like Mission Bay, they have a really good defense this year. Hayden Nguyen and Jack Ryan and Jacob Sloan, they both go both sides of the ball, and I think they're going to make a huge impact this week.
Can I interject real quick just for something? Yeah. I'm curious. I want to put this out to the room, just thinking about this, doing our Mission Bay coverage right now. They seem to have taken big-time offense to me putting them on the In the Hunt
I did see that
segment of the graphic. I felt like In the Hunt was a compliment, saying that like you're in competitively in the realm of possibility for a championship. Why did people is In the Hunt an insult?
I mean, you have to show it on the field. It would be like, yeah, you want the respect.
Should we just change it?
Win your first 5 games and then let's talk. So I
think
in the hand
might be aggressive. But Tommy,
should we change it to like on the prowl?
They need to be worded differently.
On the prowl feels like treacherous wording. That feels like something
feels like you're there.
Nah, it feels. But yeah,
what is it when like the vultures are circling their prey? Is there a word for that? Like they're not there, like they're ready to swoop, ready to pounce.
I like that. Ready to pounce. Teams that are. Yeah, let's just make all of our.
No,
wording,
they're the Buccaneers. They're about to hit shore.
But yeah, let's just make all of our wording mascot specific as to something that they will do. I'm sorry, no, I interrupted though. You were talking about some of the skill positions.
Yeah, overall, just returning starters on both sides of the ball. I think that they want to be known as a respected team. So then let's show it. Week 1, let's have a dominating performance, and let's win by a lot. I got Mission Bay starting off the season strong and proving that they really are not just in the hunt, but they could be a contender.
Maybe we're not quite where we thought we were with the intern.
About to board starboard, or what's a nautical term?
Yes, they're about to board all hands starboard.
Well, no, because they're attacking the other boat, in theory. I don't know.
Tommy, how about for the rest of the show, you just list off nautical terms until you run out of them.
They're anchoring, about to anchor.
Yeah, I'm going to go Mission Bay here to get off on the right path. I think the first thing you look at is they lost their quarterback, Clash Orsborn, 43 touchdowns, 5 interceptions last year. But when you look at the receiving crew, Jacob Sloan, Jack Ryan combined for 29 of those touchdown receptions last year, and they're both back. So I think that'll help ease in the passing game. They got 2 guys they can go to there. You can't really pick one side to double up on. So I think they have a lot of success, and it starts in week 1.
Tommy, you gave us
Mountain
your
the
take.
cannons. Loading the cannons. I like Mission Bay as well. It looks like Ethan Siebler might be taking over at quarterback. He's not the biggest guy. He's extremely athletic. Ethan, take this the wrong way, reminds me a lot of kind of Kyler Murray, how he's able to just kind of scurry around in the pocket, buy some time to make a throw. He's got, for a guy not so big, he's got a big arm. We saw it in the scrimmage against the Wake Entry Day, throwing a game-winning touchdown pass that looked like it was in the air for like 100 yards to David Meyer late in that game. So obviously losing a quarterback like Orsborn is tough, but I think that they will still be fine on offense. We talk about Elkhorn Valley. Khalil Gordon, 1,400 rushing yards last season, a very tough guy to tackle. It's a very one-sided attack for Elkhorn Valley, so if they want to win this game, they got to run the ball and burn clock, try and frustrate Mission Bay that way. That will be the best chance they've got at winning this game. I do like Mission Bay in this one, but if Elkhorn Valley's smart, they can make it close, and it wouldn't surprise me either way.
Last game we got is Ramona and Christian. Ramona seems like they might have lost a fair amount in graduation last year, but they were in a championship game, so I always like to look at teams that made it deep last season. And Christian, they've actually got a senior class that feels like has been leading to this moment. So maybe 2 teams moving in opposite directions right now. Bodie, your take.
Yeah, Ramona was one of the teams on my next 5 out in the preseason top 10. I'm expecting a big season for them. I think teams always have a tough time when they have to go up the hill, go to Ramona like Christian will be doing this weekend, even though it's not the furthest trip. And I expect Christian to have a good season as well. They got some seniors, as you said, with this class that's got their last time around. But I'll go with Ramona squeezing out a close victory here in week 1.
Noah Laxina.
Yeah, I think Ramona squeezed this out. I think they have a good growing program. I think their JV. They had a good record last year as well. So even though they're losing a lot of people, they got more people coming up ready to accept the challenge. I think Christian's going to be, man, JV. It's not everything.
I missed. There are different personalities that when alone, I think sometimes our show gets weighted in one direction too much, but when together we all cover different angles because Noah's always here with how did last year's JV team do, and let's project that out. And that is a certain kind of madness for football that you gotta be committed to diving that next level down and extrapolating the JV.
Oh, it's very calculated. If you have a good program and you know you have a good JV, then the transition from JV to varsity is going to be a lot easier. And I feel like with this program in particular, like you guys said, it's tough to play in that place, and I think those guys are going to step up to the challenge.
Bodie?
Yeah, I started with my pick for this one, so I already did give you it.
My apologies.
I will say that.
Hey, Bodie, tell me more.
I will say with Ramona moving up to Division 2.
You're done. My bad. That's on me. That's strike number 2, third strike, and then we have to shut the show off. Tommy, go ahead.
I like Christian in this one. Dave Davila coming back, 25 total touchdowns last season. They returned 2 of the top 3 receivers due to the Patriots. This is going to be a very good game. What's going to be really tough for Christian is blocking Nick Driscoll. He anchors the line. He was first team all league last year. We'll see what they do at quarterback. They got a lot of options. Aslan Enriquez is a good athlete that can line up anywhere on the field. You talk about the defensive side. We've got Jacob Rauer returning, one of the bigger leading tackles, as is Colin Lesser, who also, I guess, can play quarterback according to the roster. So we'll see how they get everything together. Kind of similar to like what I was saying about Point Loma. I think towards the end of the season, Ramona's going to be a lot better than they are now. I'm sure they have some unanswered questions that will be answered very, very soon. But for now, I like Christian just with a little bit more roster turnover.
Those are 4 games. If you want more, you can check out our website. The links are in all of the bios to the quick takes that we do for everything. We will be back over the weekend with reaction, but also just go ahead and make sure you follow Scorebook Live. That's what you need right now more than anything. The scores, the game previews, the everything that Bodie does all week long is the central hub of everything. Because it's not just football, it's all of the sports and results-wise. It's all of them. You got everything for CIF. They're the official digital partner. Guys, usually at the show, I just like to throw out, did we miss anything? No?
I think just being aware You're going to have Thursdays and Saturdays. So if you are going to a game, just make sure you check the schedule and you don't show up on the wrong date, because that's going to be a theme throughout. I think it'll probably be worse in these
and I
first
feel like
few
Bodie
weeks,
can
but-
finally publicly put his name to that on Scorebook Live
Yeah.
after the last couple of years of converting everybody over from the old site to the new. Noah, anything we missed this week for you?
Scorebook Live, and just inject it in your veins because it's your life now.
There we go.
Scorebook Live, baby.
Woo! Tommy Morris, anything we missed on your end?
Sorry, my headphones cut out. Have you guys heard about Scorebook Live?
We're all
Dude, it's the new thing, right?
Great, you're hired.
we're all very appreciative
Okay.
to our corporate overlords at Scorebook Live that allow us to exist as a show. Yeah, that's it. We'll talk to you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was just going to bring them up. You know you can check live scores on that too?
I love you, Tommy. All right, everybody, we'll stop. We'll
love the
stop
extra plugs.
talking now. Talk to you next week.